So hi, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining this month's live demo. So this is Uku. And I'm going to start the day with this product demo on the dashboard. So on the dashboard of Uku, you can see all the tasks that you will have to work on today. So all your team members will have their own personal dashboard, and every single morning when a person logs into Uku, they will see what they will have to work on now. So this is the biggest win that you get from Uku, that none of your members will ever have to worry about what they have to work on again. When you do the setup initially, adding your clients and adding the task plans or project workflows to them, then after that, Uku will make sure that the appropriate task is on the right person's dashboard when it's time to work on that task. These tasks here with the red due dates, these are the ones that were supposed to be completed already in the past a few days ago, but I didn't. So now they're overdue and red. The ones with the background, these are the ones that I need to work on now. As you can see, each task can have due dates. You can have a start date and a due date, which don't have to be the same. They can be different. So the start date indicates or tells us when this task needs to show up on the right person's dashboard, and the due date indicates when it needs to be done. Every single person in your team can create a preferred version of the dashboard, how they like to work. So they can add filters, they can filter out tasks, and they can also group the tasks by different criteria. And then throughout the system in Uku, you will be able to see the save option. So whenever you create the custom set of filters that you like to work with, you can save that view as a bookmark and create yourself a list of views that you like to work with. So this means that you can have your standard dashboard view. You can filter out the tasks that you are not working on, but you like to follow. So you can easily access these where you want to track work progress. And you can also, for example, create dashboards for a group of people. If you want to create a dashboard for the support team or operations team, where people can share tasks and decide who gets which task. And when it comes to regular tasks, these can also be assigned to a group of people or to specific people. And then single person can say that, you know what, remove me from this task, or I'll take this task. So the tasks logic is built in a way that you can actually work on them together as a team or individually as a person based on whatever suits you best. Now, staying to the concept of having a dashboard that tells you everything that you need to do, we have also brought in communication methods to Uku to help you keep communication around the pieces of work that you need to do in one place. So for example, here under this task, first up, we can have a checklist inside the task that needs to be completed. We can have notes. We can upload manuals, etc. And all these things we can add to tasks already in the task templates, so that every single time when this task pops up on my dashboard, it already has the necessary steps described and has the necessary description and comments here. And in addition to that, in addition to having the description of what needs to be done, I can also have the full communication related to this piece of work here under the task. So we have three types of communication. We have the internal communication with the team members. We have the client portal, so you can share a task to the client portal for the client to see and work on together with you. And then the client will be able to write comments to you or portal messages, and you will be able to send portal messages to the client also. Plus, you will be able to send out emails from under this task you will be able to set up email automations in task templates so that regular emails would go out automatically. You can send out one-off emails from under your tasks. And when a client replies to an email that was sent related to this task from Uku, and they hit reply in their inbox, then that response will also be pulled to this communication thread. So when you use Uku and you activate the client portal and you activate the email integration, then we can pull all the communication related to this piece of work to this task, which means that your team member doesn't really have to navigate anywhere else in the system to get their work done. If you're into time tracking, you can track time already directly on the dashboard. You can open an item and start time tracking also from the checklist items if you want to. When you start a new stopwatch, when you start a stopwatch under one task, then it will be automatically stopped under the previous one. By the way, if you want to, you can turn checklist items into tasks if you need to. You can also create manual time entries. You can edit your time entries. You can mark your time entries billable, non-billable. You can add comments, and you can also track office and remote work. So there's a lot you can do with time entries. Plus, you can do bulk time entries and other bulk actions with tasks. So I can add time. I can, let's say I want to add 1 hour. Then Uku will propose a time slot, which I can change. And I can decide if it's billable or not billable, and I can split this duration 1 hour equally between these tasks. And then when I add time, 15 minutes was added to each task here. And when I'm working on something and someone interrupts me, then I can easily jump to the plus sign, and here I can find the magic buttons. You can define your own magic buttons, and I can click on, for example, on the phone call if somebody phoned me up. And again, the stopwatch jumped immediately here. It was stopped under the previous task. I can take down my notes while I'm on the call, and later when the call is over, actually I can also take down action items. Perhaps we agreed on something. And then later, when the call is over, I will just make sure that I have the correct client marked here. Let's take someone who has the client portal. I will make sure that I have the correct billable topic marked because I want to bill for this. If this is scope creep, I can mark this as extra work. If I need to, I can mark this as important. If I want to, I can add a colleague here to share it with them. Hey, Emily, check this, please. And if I want to, I can also directly send it to client portal so that my client who I was on the phone with can also immediately see the action items that I took down. And I can also add a portal message if I need to. I'll clarify what you asked. So as you can see, you can solve a lot of different use cases already on the dashboard. I can see the list of tasks that I need to work on. I can see what I need to do, how I need to go about it. I can share the work with my colleagues. I can share the work with teams or inside the team. I can share it with a client and manage the communication. Also, track time and make sure that all the needed information is entered into the system. So on tasks, we can add also custom fields. I'll take a few examples. Let's see, expenses, joiners, mileage, levers. Let's take this one. So again, these custom fields can be assigned to task templates already. So again, later they will pop up together with the task to make sure that your colleagues don't miss to fill this out. But here I can start also tracking information which was not in the task template in the first place, but I need to gather as I do my work. So for example, for pay slips or payroll calculation, we might need to track the number of joiners or leavers. Maybe I needed to visit the client, so I will need to bill mileage to the client, so I can take down this information here. I can also use custom fields to track additional process statuses if I need additional statuses more detailed. And for example, if I have carried some expenses for my client and I need to charge these to the client also, then I can have a custom field expenses where I can say that, let's say I paid 500 euros for my client and I want this to show up on the invoice, then I can use the field expenses for that to pull that to the invoice. So again, the same place, the same task on my dashboard, and a lot more use cases I can solve inside this one task. Plus, if I want to, I can postpone billing. I can set a custom date for the specific work when it needs to be billed. I can say that this will never be billed, so I can also do some custom processes here already on the task while I'm working on this. All right, on the dashboard, one more thing I want to show you is the calendar view. When I click on today, I land in the calendar view where I can see my full week. And here I can also drag and drop things around. So I can use this, I can use my dashboard even to plan my full week. So again, you can do everything you need to do on the dashboard. But this is mainly when you're just a team member and you're working on the tasks and you're solving the use cases. When you're a manager, you need to get some insights into how the work is progressing. Are we being profitable? Are my clients' expectations being met? And for that, there are different options here, which I can recommend. But I would first jump to reports, because under reports, there's a lot you can do. As I explained before on the dashboard, when you work with a custom set of filters, you can always save that preferred set of filters, or in case of reports, also the preferred set of columns, for example, as a bookmark. And I can create myself a custom list of reports that I like to work with. And as a manager, this is a huge thing. I can define my own reports that I like to work with, and I can easily navigate to these at any given time. So for example, of course, we always want to know last month. What did we do last month? So I can easily see here billable, non-billable tasks, non-billable time tracked. So it was only 2 hours of non-billable time, which is probably fine for administrative and internal in-house work. But I can also see that we have 22% of overdue tasks, 76% done. So this might be a red flag. I can easily see how much work has been tracked for different clients, how many tasks, and I can actually also take a look at different groupings. I can go into further details, going into the task level to see what tasks people have done. I can sort the tasks by status to see which ones are the problematic ones, who are the owners of the problematic tasks, etc. And I can even go into time entry level if I want to get even more detailed. But now I can also build custom reports as I promised. And if I click here, for example, I can show you that there's a long list of fields that you can add to reports. So these contain all the custom fields that I also showed you on the tasks. If you want to track custom fields or information based on the custom fields gathered there, you can add information here. You can pull time entry comments. You can see if it's billable, non-billable time entries, more details about the tasks. So you can do all this with reports. But now let's take a look at some examples of additional reports. For example, if you want to keep track of overdue tasks, you can build a specific report for that and start tracking this week's overdue tasks, for example, which gives you the option to stay on top of the information so that you realize that something is overdue before your client realizes it. Then what else you can do with the reports is that you can build those custom fields to reports and start seeing all the numeric information, for example, that you wanted to gather. Again, the number of joiners or leavers, or maybe the number of pay slips or purchase invoices that have been processed. Then let's see if there are more interesting examples to take a look at here. Yes, you can also build reports to keep track of specific type of work. For example, where we took a look at the specific status on tasks. So you can filter out the report to get an idea of how far along are we with this type of work. In this case, the yearly reporting, annual accounts. I can filter them all out, and here I can see the specific progress statuses. I could see if something is overdue, but all of these are done. Billable, non-billable again. So I can track specific type of work. And here's a better example of audit projects, for example, where we do have some cases where tasks are still overdue or where tasks are already done. So yeah, you can build your custom reports to get that specific information that you want to track. To simplify tracking, you can also use the monitoring report, where Uku allows you to track if the agreements that you have made with your clients actually also reflect the reality. So you can enter your agreements with your clients to the system. For example, how many hours you think you're gonna work for them, how many invoices you think you need to process for them, how much time you think you would need to spend on audit, how much time you think you would have to spend on daily accounting or consultancy. So you can build these drivers that you want to measure yourself based on number of, or based on quantity or based on time tracked. And then Uku is going to start showing you where you're actually doing more than you have agreed and where you still have some space left and where you're about in the right range. So monitoring helps you to also keep track of if your potential actually being profitable or not. All right, team members also quite often like the calendar view, where they can filter out their colleagues' calendars and they can take a look at from 1 to 4 weeks ahead. And then they can also see what their colleagues are working on, which tasks are coming up. And this also works well when somebody falls ill. Then you can take a look at their calendar and reassign their tasks. You can filter out the full team's calendar if you need to divide tasks, tell who needs to take which task. So this is also a view that a lot of people really enjoy working with. All right, so now, we have the work in the system, we are tracking the work, we're doing the work. Now we also want to build the work. Let me jump to a client's profile. All right, so this is Uku's client list. And let's open a client's profile. Here on the overview tab, you can take down any kind of information that you want to share with your team members about a client, notes, contract templates, really any information. And here on the sidebar, you have the option to define what kind of information you want to keep in Uku and what kind of information you don't need to keep in Uku. So for each customer, obviously, you have a basic set of data that you need to know. This is just basic company data. Also, you can track sub-companies and parents. And now a lot of these additional fields that you're seeing here, these are custom fields. So you can create custom fields They can be of different type. They can be designated to carry different type of information, and you have full control over which fields are visible, which fields are not visible, and you can create your own additional fields. So if you're currently working with different sheets in Excel, for example, to carry different type of data for your clients, then you can skip all that. You can create those fields to Uku, take down all the information here, and in the clients list, you will be able to also do searches by the values in the custom fields. So this is not only a visual aid under your client, this is also an actual client's database that you can work with here. Under a client, you can also, by the way, see the full communication history, all the sent out emails and all the incoming emails, and the full set of automations that you have set up for them. So emails that need to go out monthly or weekly or bi-weekly, you can also see all the automations here. This here is the place where you set up those task templates that I was talking about previously. So how Uku works is that you either create a workflow, which is a set of tasks, and the tasks in the workflow, they're recurring tasks. So these are tasks that need to happen every week or every month or every year or every day. So you set up the recurrence, and then Uku will start generating copies of these templates when it's time to do them. And here in the templates, this is where I said before that you can already define all the checklist details, you can add notes, you can add comments related to this work, and every single time a copy of this template is generated, all this information is taken with it. But here you can also already set up sending tasks to the client portal. So if this task always needs to pop up in the client portal also, then you can define it here already inside the task. Or if it has an email automation, you can define that here. You can add all your custom fields, which we were talking about, and you can also add task dependencies. The other option to manage work in Uku is with projects. And a project is also a set of tasks, but with the difference that the project has a specific start date and a specific end date. So the tasks depend on those important dates inside the project, whereas in the task plan, they were recurring tasks. But in both cases, it's tasks. And in both cases, what you can do is that you can create your company's project templates, and you can create your company's master workflow templates. And you can assign tasks to your clients from those templates. And you can do that as bulk actions also. So you can add a master workflow to a lot of clients at the same time. So that's a huge time saver, that you can just apply a workflow and start your work. And now when you have defined all the tasks that need to be done for this client, you will also want to set up the contracts. And the contracts, on the contract, you can define the billable services for this client. Again, you can create your master products in Uku, and you can also create your contract templates. And then you can always do customizations on the contract for this specific client. So I can add this contract from a template and then customize this price list for this client, for example. And on each contract, and you can have multiple contracts per client, by the way, if you want to differentiate between different sets of services. And you can also have a contract that's monthly, and you can have another contract that's yearly and another contract that's quarterly. So that will also help you differentiate between those services, that some need to be done once a year and some need to be done every month. And on each contract template, you can combine different pricing logics. So you can have your products, you can have your services with the fixed price here. And additionally, you can add services that you want to bill by the hour. You can have services that you want to bill by quantity. You can pull your extra costs from that expense field to the contract. as one-off costs also. So there's a lot of different pricing logics that you can work with, and I'm pretty sure that whatever you can come up with, we have covered in Uku. Yeah, so you set up the contract templates here, and then Uku will start generating invoices for you automatically. So we are currently, we already have here draft invoices for March, which will be sent out in the beginning of April, where we can already immediately see how much we have done work for this client this month, and what's the billable amount. And from here, show all lines. I can also add those lines, make those lines visible where currently the quantity is still 0 and we wouldn't charge anything. So this will help me make sure that I haven't forgotten to write down some time entries or write down some quantities to get those values here onto the invoice. So that will help me check the invoice. And then at the beginning of the next month, you would come here to the billing tab. You would see here all the invoices that are waiting for your approval. You can bulk select them. You can bulk approve all your invoices. And then let's approve a few of them by saying create. When I say create, these are basically being approved. If you need to, then you can also go back and edit a created invoice if you realize later that something was wrong. Anyway, on the created invoices tab, we can also then export these invoices together to Xero, to QBO, to a lot of different accounting software. We have a lot of different integrations, so check those out. Yeah, and if I would have it active, I could also send them out via email as PDF attachments, or you can mark them paid. And when you're integrated with one of the accounting softwares, then we will pull back the paid status from the accounting software, and then you will see automatically when the invoice is paid. All right. So I think we have kind of covered the full circle of what you can do in Uku. You can have your clients here with any information you need to. You can set up the work that needs to be done for your clients. After that, Uku will start managing what needs to be done when. You don't have to worry about it. You can just track whatever metrics you want to track time, or track the number of invoices that you're processing, different values. And then you can also set up the automatic billing, which will help make sure that everything that you have tracked and written down and that you have marked as completed as tasks is actually also being billed properly and getting charged for. There are, of course, a lot of additional features which we couldn't cover today during these 30 minutes. For example, document repository integration, the workforce app and managing your workforce in Uku, the accounting software integrations, and of course also the client portal. And if someone feels like they want to get to know Uku even more detailed, or they have specific use cases they want to talk through one-on-one, then you can always contact our support team, or you can book a demo from our homepage. You can just book a demo from here also to get a private session with one of our consultants. I can jump to the client portal for a moment and show you that if your client has several companies, they can switch between those directly in the portal. The login to the client portal is with a magic link, so they don't need to know a password. And when a task is assigned to them in the client portal, they will get an email and they will get a notification also. So they will easily be notified. And if they don't want to log into the portal, they can just hit reply on that client portal email and give you the information via that email too. So thank you all for being here. I hope this was helpful. And yeah, let's continue the conversation then one-on-one. Thank you. Bye.